He recorded it in on a bit.
Jesus' headquarters. Today it sets as one of the most beautiful areas in the world. Placid, peaceful. You top the rise of those hills and you all of a sudden are treated to the sight of Lake Gennesaret, or the Sea of Tiberias, or as it is commonly called, the Sea of Galilee. Maybe it doesn't affect you or did not affect you as it did me, but the first time I saw it, it almost took my breath away. Around this sacred body of water, more miracles were performed than had ever been performed by all of mankind, by God through man in all of history. Josephus said during Jesus' day there were possibly 250,000 people that ringed that lake. There was Capernaum, there was Magdala, Bethsaida. The lake teemed with fish. They say that it could have been as many as 4,000 boats on that lake fishing during Jesus' time. He stood one day and addressed those cities where he said, "Woe unto thee, Capernaum, Shoreis, and Bethsaida! If the works that had been done in thee had been done in Sodom and Gomorrah, they would have repented long ago in sackcloth and in ashes." And the ironical thing about it is that all of the towns that he visited, Bethsaida, Shoreis, Capernaum, Magdala, they're all gone. Now there's none left. The only town the Bible doesn't say that he ever set foot in, he may have, but the Bible never mentions it, is the city of Tiberias.
Give me the remote. I gotta turn it a bit.
Named after the Roman emperor.
It's sometimes lower than what we record.
No record that he ever
My wife got those lines of dots. See that?
survives today, but the cities that he performed his greatest miracles in and gave the greatest amount of illumination to, and they spurned him, rejected him, cursed him, and denied him, they are no more. They're gone.
Maybe they're lights, Cody.
But in your mind's eye,
Blue lights.
you go back tonight.
You know?
And I want
Blue
you
light.
the best as you can to see
So
that
maybe
city
they're
of
blue
Capernaum.
lights
I want you to see this
that you
bustling
see.
activity of people.
I don't know what you can see.
It's alive with multiple thousands of individuals if it was as large as Josephus said it was. And I want you to hear the news as the entire city tingles, as John Stalin said a moment ago, with tiptoe excitement. Jesus is back. It goes down every street. It buzzes with excitement. It rifles the houses. It goes into the places of business. Jesus is back. And on that Sabbath day, he goes into the synagogue. As I mentioned briefly a moment ago, they believe, the archaeologists do, that the ruins of the synagogue you would see there now sets upon the exact foundational stones that were there when Jesus stood in it 2,000 years ago. And I have three simple points to this message tonight. The man with a withered hand, the church with a withered plan, and the power of the miracle-working man. I want to say it again. The man with a withered hand, the church with a withered plan, and the power of the miracle-working man. That thrills me. I want you to look first of all at the man with a withered hand. Bible said as Jesus was in that synagogue that day, all of a sudden this man appears and his hand is withered. The way the Bible describes it, when you go back into the ancient Greek, the hand had atrophied. It had shrunken. It had withered up. There was no life left in it. The fingers were only just a portion of the size they should have been and were unmovable. The hand had drawn into a claw-like position, and it had no life in it. There was nothing the man could do with it. It was drawn up, wasted, atrophied, withered. And the man stands there with that withered hand in his heart, knowing that Jesus had the power to set him free.
That was 35 years ago tomorrow, see?
I've tried to think, I've tried to put myself in the shoes of the individuals that Jesus healed. And John said he healed so many that if they wrote it down in books, the world itself couldn't contain the accounts of all the things he did. He made life miserable for the devil. And brother, that's the business of the church today. The business of the church is not to judge beauty contest. The business of the church is not to build architectural wonders and say, isn't that sacred looking? But the business of the church is to scare the devil. The business of the church is to set the captive free. The business of the church is to bind up the brokenhearted. The business of the church is to open the eyes of the blind. The business of the church is to set at liberty them that are bruised. The business of the church is to deliver those that are bound by the powers of darkness. That is the business of the church of the living God today. Glory to God. Hallelujah. I want you to look at the man with a withered hand. He is a perfect type of the world. The world cannot use its hands and its eyes either, for that matter. It stumbles and staggers in blindness and tries to pick up something and fumbles and cannot hold it.
He said he wasn't needing anybody, still asking born John.
You hear me?
He said she still need anybody.
You hear me?
I don't want you to have signs that said y'all still have.
7.5 million problem drinkers, and I've never figured out the difference in an alcoholic and a problem drinker. So you got nearly 20 million drunks riding the highways of the United States of America today.
If they weren't right, you'd be lying to my wife there.
Nearly
He said I
$100
didn't tell her
billion
that.
will be spent on drugs, on marijuana, on
He said he'd give me a schedule the next week, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a cook job for you, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I understood him.
I
said I told her I didn't have anything for her, didn't
I think he told me he did.
Why say he told you that?
Huh?
He wanted to talk to you.
I know it. That's why I understood him to say he wanted me to be a cook. Lord, forgive me if I'm wrong. You hear me?
Listen, yeah.
But man doesn't want to admit that. Man wants to look God in the face and say there is no God. And man can save himself. You know what Jesus said? Jesus looked at those men that stood there and stared at him with hate. And said, you don't want me to heal this man and restore him? He said, if a little sheep was dying and it was a Sabbath day, you'd save the sheep, wouldn't you? Is not a man worth more than sheep? Hear that question. Is not a man worth more than sheep? You see, the secular humanists today, they tell our children in the public schools, the professors tell the students in the colleges and universities, and many preachers tell it from behind pulpits, and it's the new religion in America, secular humanism, that man is a product of nothing. And he's a part of the mass, and when he dies, he will go to nothing.
What?
The secular humanist will tell you you have no soul. You came from some slime or ooze 10
About time.
trillion
That
years
one's
ago.
it should be about time. Have you heard it yet?
You finally became a wart.
I don't think so, Lord. Excuse me if I'm wrong.
And then the wart got freckles on
You
it
hear me?
and developed an eye. And scratched, and finally over millions of years developed an ear, calling to sound spots in the air, sound waves in the air. Forever learning, never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. It is so much easier to just simply pick up the Bible and turn to Genesis 1:1, where it says, in the beginning, God made the heaven and the earth. In the beginning, God. In the beginning, God. That's so much easier. That's so much simpler because it is true. But the secular humanists tell you that you have no soul. That you are just a little higher animal, and our little children in the public schools, they literally refer to them as little animals. They say that you're just a part of the animal kingdom. No soul, no value. And man will somehow, through man's ability, bring in some type of utopian paradise. And that while we are standing neck deep in mental derangement and lives battered and 50% of the homes going on the rocks. And only God knows how many drug addicts and drunks and alcoholics and hell that's raging in man's soul. Man is a moral leper. Man is crippled spiritually. You hear me? Man with all of his vaunted wisdom, with all of his vaunted knowledge, with all of his vaunted ability, with all of his vaunted technological expertise, man cannot bring one moment of peace. Brother, you can run the nightclubs until the bars close and watch the sun come up as you travel the roads looking for another one, and you won't find peace. You can stack money in the bank until the banks are glutted and gutted with it, but it won't buy 1 minute of peace or fulfillment in your soul. You can get so much education until there are no more degrees to obtain, and you won't find peace. But once you come down to an old-fashioned altar somewhere and bow at the foot of the cross and ask Jesus Christ to come into your heart and get an old-fashioned experience of salvation, then you'll know what real living actually is. Hallelujah. Is not a man worth more than a sheep? In the Soviet Union, he isn't. In communist China, he isn't. And there are many sociologists in this nation that says he's worth no more than a sheep. But God looks at you as more than just a piece of goods to be used and then discarded when you get too old to produce, and you are nothing more than a useless eater.
An eater? What's that?
I don't know.
That's the reason that abortion's so horrible. That's the reason it's so deadly and damnable and degrading. It's because they say, well, it's nothing but a blob, it's nothing but a fetus, it's nothing but a tissue, it's nothing but a mass. And I want to tell you, if you've said that, you're nothing but a liar.
You don't believe in abortion, huh?
No.
Kill babies.
From the moment of conception, it is a living soul.
The woman should get pregnant. She
From
don't
the
want a
moment
baby,
of
huh?
conception, it is a living soul.
Who?
And it will
If the
live
woman
forever and forever.
if you don't want to get the baby, she don't want to get pregnant, huh?
Because God
No,
has set
she shouldn't.
eternity in the heart of man. It's
She
not
don't want a
man
baby.
worth
She
more
shouldn't
than a
have
sheep.
abortion.
Listen.
You hear me?
Yeah.
I want to ask you tonight, what is your value? You that are in this building, you that watch me by television, what is your value? Now stop and think a moment. What is your value? You may sit there and you may be brilliant, you may be intelligent, you may have contributed much, and you may be a financier, you may be an educator, you may be many things, but what is your
They
value?
keep on seeing that photo, look. phone
You're sitting
company.
in Hollywood tonight
Look.
and you can't sleep and you've gotten up at 2 o'clock in the morning and by accident turned on this preacher.
Who was that said, "Hey, Cody"?
And you're sitting
That
there
dang
and you're saying,
phone
well, I'm
company. They won't
somebody.
leave me alone. Got that
I'm one of the
Samsung.
beautiful people. Just how valuable are you?
They don't show photos of homes or something.
If you're the newest comic in the United States, well,
John
you're
had
funny
a
because you
Eric
can say
had
a lot
a
of four-letter words.
message on his. Did you see that? The picture.
Who?
Eric, when he was showing us this
That
morning.
makes you something.
Somebody sent him something. He hadn't had it open yet. He got a pretty nice phone, don't he?
Mm-hmm.
You play football in one of the big teams.
Give me no
You
like
know how to
football.
butt heads.
Hmm?
You don't like football.
That makes you something.
Not that much, he said.
Not like Donnie or Gable, huh?
Mm-mm.
How much value are you? Every one of you in this audience tonight, what value do you have? I mean, if you live or die, what difference does it make? Stop and think a moment. In Washington, you're a number on a computer. That's it. Who'll miss you? Your mom, if she's alive, your dad, if he's alive, maybe. Your son, your daughter, if you have any. Who'll miss you? What value are you? That's what Jesus addressed there. That's what Jesus told that bunch of hypocrites. He said, you place no value upon mankind.
After almost 4:15.
Your value is in your system, your religion. Your value is in your rules and your bylaws and your constitutions. Your value is in your plans and your education. But he said this man here is a human being made in the image of God. That's the point I'm trying to get across to you. To the world, you are nothing.
Thank you for bringing me a brownie.
Yeah, good Marty did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have served your purpose, they will discard you like a piece of worn out goods, like a pair of cheap worn out shoes, mister.
She does good in her cooking.
Listen.
You hear me?
You hear me?
You may be riding high tonight, but when the world uses
My
you
dad
up,
always
and
said.
brother, they will use you fast. They will use you up until there is nothing left, and squeeze the last drop of blood and then throw you in
There's a
the
school bus
garbage
in
pile.
that.
I don't hear.
I know what I'm talking
I don't
about.
think.